Richard Djerf will be put to death tomorrow for murdering 4 members of the Luna family in Maryvale 32 years ago. I will be a witness to his execution. This crime happened in 1993, 2 weeks after I was hired here at Channel 10. This crime has been with me a long time, but it is important that you know in detail why the state of Arizona is putting this man to death. When so much time has passed, people forget how horrible and depraved these murders were. So tonight I'm going to walk you through the crimes in detail. 4 lives snuffed out, over 7 hours of terror in that house. But I need to warn you up front, this is very disturbing subject matter and not suitable for some viewers. It's impossible to overstate the horrors that happened inside this home 32 years ago when 23-year-old Richard Djerf slaughtered 4 members of the Luna family. Mother Patricia, 42, father Albert Luna, 47, daughter Rochelle, 18, and little brother, 5-year-old Damien. They endured 7 hours of torture, a living hell at the hands of Richard Djerf. Ernie Britz was the first officer to enter the Luna home. He was 36 years old. He'd been with the Phoenix Police Department for 14 years. He'd seen a lot of bad things, but nothing like this.
Father laying in the kitchen floor, and his head was all smashed and blood everywhere. To the right was the mother sitting in a chair facing the 5-year-old boy who was sitting in the chair, both taped to the chair. She had tape on her face. It was horrific.
Djerf had become obsessed, enraged over electronics and an AK-47 Albert Luna Jr. had stolen from his apartment 9 months earlier. The two worked together at this store, which at the time was a Safeway. On the morning of September 14th, 1993, Djerf went to the Luna home seeking revenge. But no one, even Richard Djerf, could explain why he took it so far. At about 10 a.m., he walked up to the Luna home using a ruse, artificial flowers in a vase, to get someone to open the door. Patricia Luna thought she was getting flowers. Instead, she was greeted with a 9mm Beretta handgun as Djerf forced his way inside. He wanted to know whether Albert Jr. was home. He wasn't. Djerf forced Patricia to remove electronics from the home and put them in her car in the garage. He eventually tied up Patricia and her 5-year-old son Damien in chairs in the kitchen using rope and electrical tape. He also taped their mouths shut. Repeatedly, he asked Patricia whether she or her little boy should die first. At 2 p.m., 18-year-old Rochelle came home from high school. Djerf forced her into her bedroom, gagged her with tissue paper and tape, tied her wrists to the bed, cut her clothes off with a knife, and raped her. He then stabbed her 3 times in the chest and slit her throat. Djerf returned to the kitchen and told Patricia he had raped and killed her daughter. At 4 p.m., the father, Albert Luna Sr., came home from work. At gunpoint, Djerf forced him to crawl to the master bedroom, handcuffed him, and placed him face down on the bed, where he repeatedly struck him with an aluminum baseball bat to the back of the head, sending blood spatter all around the room. Thinking he was dead, Djerf removed the handcuffs and taped his hands and wrists. He then returned to the kitchen and told Mrs. Luna he had killed her husband. Djerf tried to snap the little boy's neck, but failed. He then cut an electrical cord from a lamp and tried to electrocute the boy. That, too, failed. Albert Luna Sr. eventually regained consciousness. He stumbled to the kitchen armed with a pocket knife and charged at Djerf, stabbing and wounding him. Djerf stabbed Albert and then pulled the Beretta from his waistband and shot him 6 times. Albert collapsed in a pool of blood at the feet of his wife and 5-year-old, still taped to the chairs. According to statements made to friends, Djerf asked Patricia, "Do you want to watch your kid die, or do you want your kid to watch you die?" Djerf then shot them both in the head at close range. He soaked the victims and the home with gasoline. Children were playing outside, so he waited until he could make his getaway. Before he left, he turned on 2 burners on the kitchen stove, placed an empty pizza box in a rag, hoping the home would go up in flames. He drove away in the Luna's car. The fire intended to destroy the crime scene never ignited. Djerf returned to his apartment and told his girlfriend he had been stabbed by 2 men who tried to rob him at the mall. He eventually went to the hospital for treatment of the stab wound inflicted by Albert Luna Sr. Shortly before midnight, Albert Luna Jr. finally returned home. Upon entering, he smelled a strong odor of gasoline in the house. And then he came upon the horrible scene in the kitchen. His mother, father, and 5-year-old brother dead in a pool of blood. He scrambled out of the home and called police. Even hardened detectives and officers say it's the worst crime scene they ever encountered. Many declined to be interviewed about the horrors they saw. 32 years later, Ernie Britt says so many lives changed that day, including his partners, who had gone into the bedroom where 18-year-old Rochelle Luna was raped and slashed.
We came outside after the house was cleared, and John, my partner, was just dry heaving. I go, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Nothing." And I go, he kept saying he didn't see anybody in the room or anything, but he obviously had.
His partner was never the same and quit the department 2 years later. Countless lives forever changed or stolen 32 years ago, all at the hands of Richard Djerf, whose life too will end in a matter of hours.
Will it close any chapter for you?
No. You can't forget what you've seen, but it's hard to forget. It leaves a scar no matter what.
Richard Djerf was arrested 4 days after the murders. He represented himself at trial and pled guilty and was sentenced to death anyway. He never denied committing the murders, but a few weeks ago, he penned a handwritten letter admitting to the killings, saying, "I had a lot of time to review my life over the past 32 years. I have done far more harm than good. While I'm not the same person that I was on that terrible day, I am more thoughtful and I understand how much damage that I have done. I am truly sorry for all of the pain that I caused to everyone affected by the murders committed on September 14th, 1993. He goes on to say to his former friend, Albert Luna Jr., where this whole thing started, he wrote, "I blamed Albert because something small in which I became obsessed with. And that obsession grew out of control. And I became so consumed with vengeance that I could think of nothing else. Albert Jr. is and always was an innocent victim. No part of what I did to his family or why was ever his fault."
As John mentioned, he will be a witness to Djerf's execution happening tomorrow morning, and we will have complete coverage throughout the day here on Fox 10. We'll be right back.